All right. So what's up, Ian? How are you?
How's things, pal? I'm good, good. Yeah, doing well. It's a nice sunny day, so looking forward to getting out and getting some of that vitamin D. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We don't get it out here. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I know the leaving cert is cancelled, but hopefully we'll still get the leaving cert weather.
Hopefully, yeah. Just continue on. That's a guaranteed 2 weeks of good weather every single time it comes around, without fail. I don't think there's ever been a leaving cert where it's been raining. It's
Yeah.
always been like sun shining, birds chirping, and just blue skies.
So with the lockdown, did you have any fights coming up?
Yeah, so I was actually meant to fight Saturday just gone, up in Belfast, and I was arranged for London, but obviously that got pulled just due to no opponent and injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, I was meant to fight basically twice, um, and it's annoying because it's kind of a pause in the momentum, and I had a nice little run there where everyone was kind of like, oh, I don't mean by everyone, I mean my family, my friends, and my teammates. We were and maybe so that the Irish kind of MMA media, like I don't really pay attention to all that, but it was kind of nice. I could see everyone getting more interested, and more interested, and more interested, and then I was like, "When's your next fight?" I'm actually going to go to it, and I'm like, "Yeah, you said that last time." He's like, no, I'm 100% going to go to it this time. I'm like, "Oh, it's up in Belfast," and they're like, "No way." I'd say I would have had about 1,000 people going up to Belfast, just like my mates, like just looking for a piss to take without any of my friends or like my family or any teammates. Like it would have been madness. But that's the most annoying thing about this is it's kind of halted my progression in the sense of fighting. Like I can still do what I want to learn and stuff like that. But as far as kind of getting the hype behind me and keeping it, that's the most annoying thing about this lockdown. Like I'm sitting at home doing like nothing. Do you know what I mean? Getting whatever training I can in, keeping fit. So it's great for me. But other than not training as much as lockdowns kind of affected me. That's it.
Yeah. Do you think those, if you got a fight or two in, do you think you might have managed to get onto the UFC card that was meant to be on?
Like it could have been possible. It could have been, and that was something that you never know. Obviously, my coach Chris wanted it as well, and if that was a case of me and like if one of us could get on it, I wouldn't have even been an argument. I would let him. Not that I'd let him, as in I had a choice, but like I would have taken a step back and say off you go because he wouldn't fight in the same card as me. But it could have been. It would have been a nice debut to make in the UFC. Is it too early? Yeah, probably. But would it have been the right decision? Maybe not. But why would I make the right decision when that's such a good decision? Do you know what I mean? So it would have been hard to refuse, but it wouldn't have been the right thing to do. And maybe it's all a kind of a blessing in disguise that this happened and that I didn't get to win those last two fights and I don't get to fight on it because I'm going to end up there anyway and there's no rush on it. And once we get there, we're going to start scalping people straight away. So
Yeah, I think there's definitely a buzz. Because I actually heard about you from the Shelleys when I kind of started the podcast about a year ago. They were kind of Adam was like, "Oh, you should get there's a guy called Ian Garry in our gym. You should look at getting him on." And I think we actually maybe spoke about doing it maybe about last year, but kind of didn't.
we did ages ago. We did ages ago. Yeah, something happened. There was something on or something.
I think one of the Shelleys took a fight, I think, and then you ended up cornering them, and they kind of just got busy and everything.
That's what it was. I was cornering the Shelleys the day we were meant to do it. It was on a Saturday. I think it was Ryan. Ryan was making his debut or something. I think it was something like that. And then you just kind of fizzled out. But we're here now.
Yeah. So how did you get started in martial arts?
I started boxing when I was 10. Fell in love with boxing. Just loved kind of the physical side of it. I don't obviously done like gun hurling like everyone growing up does in Ireland. But loved that as well. But I don't know. I just kind of loved I don't know. There's something in me that just loves a scrap. I don't know what it is. Like I don't like I wouldn't fight out in the street. And that's not to say like if someone come up and hit me, I'd fight. Like I probably would, but like I'd do everything possible not to fight, if you understand what I mean. I'm not that type of guy. Like if it's my mates and we're out in the piss or we're out in a gaff party and they get taken, then it's like, right, let's come on then, let's do it. Like no. that's different. They're my mates, you know what I mean? I can take the piss out of them. But if I'm walking down the road and like some randomer starts screaming at me or through boxing me, like, I don't think I'd fight them. Like, that's not in me. But when I go to compete and I'm going to train and I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to get better, there's a devil inside me that just wants to kill everyone. So even when I was a kid, it was kind of a nice way to take kind of anger and frustration out, and kind of put on my time into something. So when I was doing boxing, I fell in love with that, and that kind of took preference over everything. School, hurling and everything. Like it was like right, I'm training, and it really hasn't changed since. It's just been a different kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. It's gone out of my head, but it's just a different sport now. I meant to say a word, but I can't think of it. It's still early in the morning for me. But like training has always been something I enjoyed. So boxing, I trained boxing in Trinity and Donamead, and we had a great team off the bat. I think we had like 6 Dublin champions in the first year. I think so. I think it was something like that. I know we had one of my mates, Craig Bonney, was like one of the best prospects in boxing in the country at the time. So he was kind of the main guy in our team, and then we were all right behind him. There was a load of other guys. I was never big at that stage. I think I was fighting at 38 kilos, 32 kilos or something, tiny. I had like 50 people in my division in my second year in boxing. And I had like 11 fights to get to the final or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was the second. I think the second. So anyone who knows, boy 2 is 12. You're allowed to start. Boy 1 is 11, so you can start officially competing at 11. I didn't do great because my coach pulled a few strings, got me in a bit earlier than I should have been age-wise. I should have waited another year, but he just wanted me in, and so everyone I was fighting was always a year older than me. But when you're 11, a year makes a massive difference. Do you know what I mean? When you're 20 and someone's 30, it makes no difference. But when you're 11, it's a massive difference. So I always used to have to use like speed and like precision over kind of just standing there and trying to beat these bigger guys. And I think in the first year didn't go great for me, but I learned a lot. I got really good from just training. The second year, I won everything bar the All Irelands. And I think I had about 60 official fights on like the IBA in like the Irish box on my card. Ridiculous. Just the second year alone. That was without like other fights. Like throughout the year, they were literally just like the Dublins, the leagues, the Dublins, the Leinsters, the Michael Andrews, and the All Irelands. That was about 60 fights, and then that just kind of kept going. And then I kind of felt I got tonsillitis a lot, and I kind of wasn't feeling training anymore. And it got on and off and on and off, and I had to get my tonsils removed. And then I went back to get fit. Didn't like the environment in the gym anymore, so I went back and I played hurling and gaff for a while, and that was it. And then I moved to judo, and I fell in love with judo. Just a different style of kind of manhandling someone and being able to beat someone up. And yeah, got competed in that, got my black belt, was training with some of the best talents in the country in judo. And the goal was always kind of to go towards MMA since secondary school, like sitting there listening to people like talk about Conor in school and just kind of being captivated by the whole story. Because if you liked fighting when Conor was on the rise, it was like a story, like a fairy tale. Like, it was mad how fast it happened and how well the journey went. Like, so that kind of like took over me and just wanted me to kind of lead that way. And I was like to my mom, I'm going to start MMA. I'm going to say, she was like, yeah, fucking not. I was like, I am. I'm going to start it. She's like, you're not doing anything until you've done your leaving cert. I was like, fine. That was a fair deal. So I just kept doing judo until the leaving cert was done. And because she knew exactly what would happen. I would have went to MMA. Nothing else would have gotten done. And yeah, to be honest, I didn't do anything for my leaving cert anyway, so I should have just done it in hindsight. But yeah, I started that then about a couple of weeks into my first year of college. Went to SBG, Ireland, and then it was just too awkward to get to all the time because I was in college in DIT. I was like, oh, I'll just grab the Lewis, I'll go out to SBG. And yeah, it was just too much money to pay when I was a first year in college, trying to balance college and training and working and all. It wasn't a good decision. So Swords is 10 minutes away from my house, and I walked in and fell in love with the atmosphere of the gym straight away. And I've literally been, I can't remember a week that's gone by where I haven't wanted to kind of like be at the gym the next day. Like, it's ridiculous. I just love being there, and that's why I'm saying I train 3 times a day normally, and that's the only thing that's annoying me about this lockdown is I can't do that. So
yeah. Well, like, was it when you went to judo? Were you looking for a judo club, or was that just you kind of maybe just it was close to your house, or because it's not
no. So
not one that's big. It's not something that's maybe big in Ireland, and it's not something that I know people like Ronda Rousey and all, like in the UFC has done judo, but like it's not something that's massively transferred over to MMA much anymore.
Yeah, no, and you're right. It isn't, and it's not as popular as all the other sports. It was actually just something I seen. So my mate, I went to Portmarnock Community School, and literally right across the green from Portmarnock Community School was the Portmarnock Sports and Leisure Centre. And my mate's dad, Ray Steers, is now a 6th dan in judo, and he ran a class in the hall there. So I was always in there in the PSLC. It's like the kind of centre for Portmarnock. Everyone goes there. Like, it's literally called the centre. So everyone goes there, and I just seen it one day. I was waiting for my mum or something after an after-school studies or something. I was in about 5th year, and I just seen him. He was like, "You should come do it." And I was like, "Yeah, right. Why not? Like, it's something different." Went in, got absolutely hockeyed out by everyone. Everyone just thrown left, right, and centre, just hockeyed out. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get all these back." So I just worked and worked and worked and worked so that I could bounce all of them people that bounced me that day back. And yeah, I fell in love with it. It was just a bit something different. It wasn't something that I'd usually look at and go, "Oh, I want to do that." But you're feeling a different human in a different way. Like, you're trying to pull them in, like, forward to shift their weight so you can trip them backwards, and you're trying to just trick them. It's like a chess game, especially when you're with really, really high level like judokas. It's very hard. Like, I'm sure you obviously know with like people in taekwondo, like you're trying to throw little feints in to get a movement to see a gap, and it's a little chess match, and you might do the same thing again, and he'll react the same way and go, right, I'm going to throw that, but he knows that one's coming, so I might go with the high question mark. You know, it's something stupid like. Yeah, but I just liked the way there was so many different ways of tricking people and finding out like grips that would stop and eliminate someone pulling their arm back, and then being able to put them on their neck. So it was something that I was kind of in need of a physical sport, and I just stumbled across that, and I enjoyed it. And then I went out and trained with the Irish team over in Swords, and that was great. They were savages, so some of them were like just unreal. Like, they were just deadly, like getting bounced by lads who were like half my size and all. And I'm like, how? They're just so fast and so accurate at their techniques, like the way they just. So that was it was good. I loved to train, and it was hot and sweaty, and I hate doing a workout and not getting a sweat on. I just feel like I haven't done a workout. But yeah, it was just something I enjoyed, and I just kind of came across, and I haven't really looked back. It's actually been amazing for my MMA because I have great hips. So like when lads try to kind of manipulate my my pressure, so say someone has a body lock on and they're trying to pull me forward, maybe lift me up or go for a single or a double or something, my hips are so strong because of judo, because it's my reactions, my instinct not to get thrown, like not to let someone get that kind of So it's, and without even thinking, I know it just obviously like the more hours you do, the better you get at it. But like, someone grabs a hold of me, my hips are just in their face straight away. It's just like boom, hips through. It's like, you're not getting me. But I find it transfers over, not necessarily the throwing or the kind of the holding positions, but just the posture. I think has had a massive effect on my career. early on, and I think it'll help me going forward as well if I can keep the kind of the core roots and just keep the hip strong. That'd be good. So, and then take a little from everyone else.
Yeah, it's not a bad base to have judo, but also a boxing base as well.
Yeah, well, it is nice. It means I can handle myself in the grappling situations to an extent. Obviously, when I was starting off, but I knew I could box. I was always a better boxer than I was a judo player. But I didn't go out and look for a different team at the time. I didn't. I'd say if I never had got sick and that club stayed the same and all the people never left, I probably would have stayed in boxing, to be honest. Because I did love it at the time, and I loved the training. But yeah, I'd never look back now on anything else from where I am right now.
And so, like, then when you went to SPG Ireland, would you have bumped into, like, had you met Chris before you would have went down to his gym in Swords?
No, so the first gym I ever went to was Rhino. Not a lot of people know that. I went when I was doing judo. One of the lads in judo, his two sons done the kids class before the adults class. I can't think of a second name, and it's going to really annoy me because I do know it. Stephen is his name. Lovely fella. And he brought me and my friend Ushin down. And we went down and done some jiu-jitsu. I think I went down for about 4 or 5 classes. Loved it. Loved doing jiu-jitsu. And it was all in the gi. But that was my first instinct. And I really enjoyed that. And that was kind of another way of me going, oh, I want to do this. And at the time, SPG was the the biggest club in Ireland, and obviously with Conor and stuff like that. My thoughts were, I'll go down to SPG now, and I'll go there because that's where everyone is. That's the best place for me to get kind of noticed and someone see, oh, this kid's good. But the only person I knew in the club briefly, like I wouldn't have known him a lot, would have been Dylan Tuke. I'd have known him from like friends of my friends and stuff like that. And I seen him once. I was training there for about 2 months, but because different times and all. I didn't know Chris. I didn't know Tom. I had no idea who kind of Tom was, because obviously he wasn't an MMA fighter. Like he was jiu-jitsu, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know diddly squat. I still don't know diddly squat about jiu-jitsu in a sense of competition. Like I know a couple of people, and that's about it. But I knew who Chris was, and I done a little bit of research, and then finally made the move to Swords because it was so much more convenient for me. Like I can leave my house and it'll take me 13 minutes to cycle to the gym, and like it's just so handy, and it's a great gym. And Chris and Tom run an amazing club, and as you can see from the success we're having and we're going to have in the future, they're doing it all right. So, but yeah, I never knew who they were beforehand, and that was just me being a kid, like I'll just do this, just walking into the gym and seeing what was up.
Yeah, definitely the gym is flying. Like not many gyms are going like in that short bit of time I've had. Looks like had to have some of the success that the guys have had.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, just alone last year was unbelievable. Even though I kind of ended on a bad term with James losing the title, it was still an amazing year. Even like in general, like I think we were 93% win rate or something like that. Ridiculous. I think we lost 4 fights or something all year last year.
Yeah, and there was there was some other competitions in there as well. Like was there some K1 stuff and some judo or jiu-jitsu stuff in there as well?
The only thing we recorded for the record though was MMA. So like I think we only lost like 4 MMA fights last year, out of like 40 or something like that, or 42 or something like that between the whole team. I don't know. Don't go do the maths now and come back to me and tell me I'm wrong or something, because that'll wreck my. But something like that. And we had a load of success in jiu-jitsu as well. Our team Tom is a sicko, so he has everyone just bred to be machines for jiu-jitsu, and just everyone's funny. His fundamentals he goes through them so much, and it's something that kind of people always skip. So if you look at like, and I'm not saying other clubs, but other clubs will go, oh, we'll do a fancy move today because this is what someone else doing and it works there. But Tom's like, no, we'll do the fundamentals. And when you've done your fundamentals, we'll do them some more so that they're right. And then we'll work on the other stuff. And mostly the flashy stuff is with like Chris, because Chris will show that the flashy, more scrambly stuff. Tom's more about pressure, and I'm going to beat you until you give up. But he's running. The two of them combined have a great kind of structure for jiu-jitsu, and it's working well in competition. We're succeeding, so it's nothing but smiles on our side.
Yeah,
can always be better though.
Yeah, it's one thing even Ryan said though that I would agree with him that with Tom, like the fact that he competes so much himself, that helps, that like he's constantly in around competition. He's seeing what's working and what's not working, and he can bring that back to you guys then.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not talking bollocks. Do you know what I mean? He's not talking shite. He's going in there. He's using the techniques he's teaching us on other gym owners. Like the lads he's coming up against are people who own gyms across Europe. Like because he's a master's level black belt. Like, he's coming up against lads who are training 10, 20 years, and he's using the exact same techniques he's teaching us. And then he's finding out for himself what works, what doesn't work, what might be a little bit tricky. And he's unbelievable at jiu-jitsu. It's not even funny. Like it's always humbling, and people are always saying to me stuff like, oh, like, are you getting carried away with like a bit of hype and stuff like that? And I'm like, no, because I get battered every week by every week. A 40-year-old kicks my ass in jiu-jitsu and I can't do anything about it. I try my hardest. I just still can't do anything against him. He's just unreal. And that's in no-gi. Do you know what I mean? No-gi, I get little hints of kind of a chance of just passing guard and getting to a really good position or something. But in the gi, he just is insane. He just dominates everyone. It's just scary how good he is. But exactly, because he's constantly competing, he's up to date with the trends and the styles and what people are learning and trying against us. So he's sicko.
And have you done much jiu-jitsu in the gi? Like, have you went up through the belts or anything? Or
yeah, I actually. So I don't train in the gi when I have a fight coming up, purely just because one, I don't have the time. Because I don't have the time to go to a gi class when I'm working on. So like in the morning, my normal day today would be like 11 o'clock. I'll meet up and we'll do a session with the pros. I'll go get food, and then I'll go straight from food to do some strength and conditioning with my coach in Evolution Fitness. Then I'll go home, I'll have a little rest, a little nap, get some food into me. And then I'm back training later on that night. So that's 3 hard sessions in. I can't fit the gi in because I'm doing MMA in the morning or positional in the morning or kickboxing in the morning. And then at night time I'm doing technique or jiu-jitsu. If I can fit it in, I will. But fight camp is fight camp. I try to keep it as realistic as I can. But I love training the gi. It offers a different feeling for rolling. It's slower. It's more thoughtful because you have to break it down a lot more. Whereas when you're in no-gi, you're just going, let's just go and see what happens. And we're going to be sweaty and we're going to lose grips and we're going to lose hooks. So let's just roll and see what happens and go mad. And yeah, you kind of get lost in the scramble and you just enjoy the madness of it. But jiu-jitsu in the gi is a lot more methodical and slow, and it's smarter. So I love doing it because it has to be pure technique. Because you could be a 50-kilo player going up against a 90-kilo player, and you could still just beat the 90-kilo player with pure technique in the gi. So I was looking forward to getting back to it, and I am looking forward to getting back when we can open up the gym again and start training again. But yeah, I love training the gi.
Yeah, it's I find like that for somebody who maybe I haven't done any jiu-jitsu, but anytime I've watched it.
I was about to ask, have you done any?
No, there is a gym close enough to the taekwondo club. I might stop in because it's something I would like to try out. But I know from somebody watching it, the gi like that, it is slower. It's not maybe as exciting to watch if you don't fully understand what you're watching. I think the no gi can be like, you see the scrambles, you see the transitions, it can be a little bit easier to watch.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, no one wants to watch gi jiu-jitsu. It's just boring. Like, because you're fighting for grips.
Yeah.
So it's a different story. It's just not enjoyable, really. Like, it's even boring to do sometimes when you come up against someone who's just trying to stall. But you should definitely get into some jiu-jitsu, man. Just be wary. You're going to get absolutely destroyed the first couple of months. And it's not even funny. Like, you'll walk in, you go, oh, this is deadly. You'll learn a technique. You go, I'm gonna go back and do that again. Just for anyone listening who wants to do jiu-jitsu, you're gonna get mangled for the first month or two, because the way you learn is people go in and they start choking you, and you're going, right, shit, I can't do that. You'll get choked again, going, every time I do that, I get choked. And you'll start to learn. Then you'll start to try to implement your techniques that you're learning in the class into your role, and you'll go, okay, I was in this position, what do I do here now? Then they'll choke you with something different. You're going, here, I just can't win. And then you just get mad frustrated, and then you're going, right, I have to get better at this. But it's a never-ending cycle. Like, you're always going to have someone there ahead of you who's better than you, kind of, at jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't think Tom's ever going to get passed out in the gym before he retires. Like, he's just so good. Like, but it's a hell of a lot different to taekwondo. Like, obviously it's completely different, but it's very, very good. Sure, ask the Shelleys, they'll tell you about it. It's a completely different rush, and it's a different feeling because you have someone trying to hold you, whereas you're trying to always be as far away from someone as possible so you can get your kicks going. And it's definitely a play in the brain. Like, the mental aspect of it for a competition and is a different feeling.
Yeah, I've had a couple, like you said, the Shelleys, but we've had a couple of guys, other guys down in Cork who started jiu-jitsu as well, and they're kind of falling in love with it as well. Like that, the idea of going back to black belt, or going back to white belt, and a different style completely to what they're used to is something different.
It is. It's something different. It's not nice to go from being one of the best at your sport to one of the worst in another sport. But yeah. It's how you learn. Do you know what I mean? You've got to do it.
Yeah. So, like, then did you start taking amateur fights straight away when you went to Swords, or did you spend some time training, spend some time working jiu-jitsu and that? Or?
Yeah. So Chris wouldn't let me fight for ages. He literally, I think it was 9 months before he let me fight. And it wasn't that I wasn't ready. He just wouldn't let me fight. He didn't want me to fight until I was ready. He didn't want to throw me in early and then maybe take a loss. Maybe take a loss. And that kind of maybe wreck my confidence. But I was like, can I fight? He was like, no. Can I fight? He was like, no. So I went and got a K1 fight in. I got some jiu-jitsu competitions in. And he couldn't really say no anymore because I would have just started scrapping in the gym, and he knows it. I was getting a bit frustrated that I couldn't compete, like. So, and he has that rule with everyone in the gym, by the way, unless you come in already with a record behind you. If you're starting from scratch and you've never fought, you have to go do some jiu-jitsu competitions and you have to go do some K1 to show that you're competing. And how do you feel? Like, you know yourself, some people are amazing in the gym, they go to compete and they crumble. So he likes to do that as well, because the last thing you want to do is throw a kid in who's doing MMA in the gym, and maybe he's good, but the lights come on and he freezes and he can't compete and he gets battered. You know what I mean? So it's not what you want to happen. So yeah, about 9 months into training, I got a scrap, and it lasted 61 seconds. I knocked him out with a left hook, stiff, unconscious, dropped the right shoulder, left hook. And yeah, it was literally from that moment on to now has just been like that, just gone. I don't know where the time's gone. Like, that was 2.5 years ago. Madness. Yeah. It's like, I just can't fathom how fast time has moved in that amount of time. Like, it's just feels like yesterday when I was ready to walk out for that fight. But yeah, once that fight kind of kicked off, I mean, I was nonstop for that was November. I think it was November 19th. It was November 19th, 2017. And then from November to November of 2018, I had 7 fights, 8 fights, whatever. I don't even know what my amateur record is.
Six
I
and one.
yeah, I hate that. I know. I know I have a one there.
Yeah.
So I had fights, and I was meant to have about 13, but people just kept pulling out and saying no, and like there was promotions making a title up for a different weight because no one would fight me at, like, they were making a super welterweight title because no one would fight me at welterweight. So they were like, oh, we might get him at this one. And people were still saying no. And then I went up to middleweight and fought a middleweight at amateur and stuff like that because no one else would say yeah. It was mad. But it's just a kind of it's all a blur, really, to be honest. Like, I'm just always looking forward to what's next, and I don't really think about what's gone on in the past too much. But one day, excuse me, when I'm done, hopefully I'll just sit back and go, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go, what the fuck was that? Like, that's been about 10 years of my life gone in the blink of an eye, because it's always pushing forward to what's next and the next fight and the next training session. And it's the way I love the life I live at the moment. Like, it's exactly me. It's constant. It's full on. I'm never stopping. And yeah, I get to do what I love, and I'm lucky.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, I think it's the dream, isn't it, for anybody who's like anyway athletic? Is like,
Yeah.
if you can get up every day and train and compete, it's like, isn't that's the dream?
Literally, it doesn't. To be honest, it's a dream at anything. Like, and it's obviously something that you have to be lucky to find, and it doesn't come across to everyone as easy as it did to me. Like, I just kind of fell in love with this sport. I knew I wanted to do this from a young age, and I'm here now at 22, and I'm going, right, I know where my kind of, I can kind of look at my life for the next 8 years and go, right, this is where I want to be. Like, this is where my next 8 years are going to be fully focused on, minimum. Whereas you could be coming out of college and you maybe find a job that you love. Like, there's a lot of people doing nursing, right? For the life of me, I don't know why, right? Because I just think nursing is ridiculous. Like, you're going in there to get underpaid when you do so much, and you're there at the moment, like with the HSE and all this thing that's going on. Like, everyone's appreciating their work because what they do is amazing. But like, they are people with such a good heart, and they love doing their job, even though they hate it at the same time, because it's not a nice job, if you know what I mean. But they love doing it because they know they're going in and they're helping people. And whether they wake up every morning, they go into work and they love what they're doing because they start building relationships with the patients and all. And then that could be the same. If that's one difference. But then you look at the other end, and it could be a footballer who, from the age of 14, has been training and has been really good. He's been really good, and they get scouted, goes over to the UK. Maybe it doesn't work out, goes back over again, and he just constantly wants to do that job. It doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you're on, but once you can find what you love and invest all your time into that's the dream. Like, I'm just lucky I know what I like to do, and if I didn't have this, I actually genuinely don't know what I'd be doing. Like, I'd be probably off in America or Australia or Canada or South America doing God knows what, just taking the piss, and I don't know.
How did like leaving college to go full time into MMA? Like, how did that go down at home?
There was no choice for anyone. It was my decision. I signed it. I finalized everything. So I gave it a shot. So I didn't want to go to college in the first place, but my mom kind of not forced me, but pushed me kind of to go. And I kind of just sat there and went, oh, do you know what? Just to keep her happy, I'll do it. I just don't want to come home and listen to her moan every day. So I went in, I'd done it, and the first year wasn't too bad. I mean, for when I was in, like, I missed about half the year, but like, I still done what I needed to do. Like, everything I done was good. I got all good grades and everything, and I was like, oh, do you know what? That year wasn't too bad. I could do another 3 years of that. And then I went into the second year, and I lasted about 3 weeks. I went, this is horseshit. I'm not doing this. And I went and signed all the papers and was like, right, I'm dropping out. I don't want to do this. And I'll never look back. I remember coming home and just my mom flipping, going, "You what? You can't, no, that's it. You're going back." I was like, just a proper kid, just a stupid teenager sitting there going, "No, I'm not doing it. She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm not going. And she was like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "I'm going to do MMA." She was like, You're what? I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go do MMA." And she was like, "Get away from me." She was like, just get away. I don't want to talk to you. And yeah, that was still, like, that was even before like amateur, and that wasn't pro. Like that was amateur. Like that was before I'd even fought. And she was like, "You're mad." She told me that so my mom works in the bank, and she told me she was talking to someone in the bank whose son was kind of going through the exact same situation I had been in. And she was like, "Oh, he wants to quit college. He doesn't like it. He wants to do MMA, or he wants to do something else. I can't remember. I think it was MMA." And she was like, "Oh, really? Yeah." And she was like, "Your son done the same thing, didn't he? And I remember you telling me about this ages ago." My mom was like, "Yeah, he did. And she goes, "How's he doing now?" My mom goes, "Ooh, he's a professional MMA fighter now." And she was like, "No way." And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "If my son tells he's going to do something, he's going to do it." I was like, that's kind of true. I was like, whoever that fella, tell him to go do what he wants and don't listen to his mom. But I suppose she was only trying to do what was right. Like, doing what I done was completely wrong, but it was what I wanted to do. And I literally sat her down and I said, "Look," I said, "I know you want to do, you're just doing the right thing, and you want me to get a good education. You want me to have a good job and get good money, but I don't care about all that. I don't care about having a good job and making good money, because if I'm not enjoying something, I won't do it. Plain and simple. I actually wouldn't. If I was to walk into work every day and see the same people in a job that I didn't like and I was only doing for the money, I'd hate it. I'd be fired after a week, 100%, because I just snap. The boss would come in and tell me to do something. I just go, no. Just looking at it, I just wouldn't do it. I know I wouldn't. So the fact that I kind of got lucky and I can do this now is ideal. And I just sat her down. I was like, "This is my life. This is what I want to do." I was like, if I fuck it up, then I fuck it up. It's all on me. It's not on you. You can't sit there in 5 years and go, say this doesn't work out, or I get injured and I can't fight anymore, or something. Touch wood, by the way, touch wood. That happens down the line. She can't sit there and go, "Oh, it's my fault. He's not got a job, or he's no education." It's all on me. But I can always go back. So there's always a backup plan. And look, I'm not a stupid lad. Like, I know I'm smart. I've a good head on my shoulders, and I know that. And if anything ever did happen, I'd be fine anyway. I'd probably make millions doing something else. talking. I tell you what, I'd just find a job where I could talk shite, and I'd be fine. Sales assistant or something like that. I'd be grand.
Yeah, there's plenty of those jobs out there, I think, where people talk shite and get paid
exactly.
for it.
And I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at it as well.
So like, how did you kind of my understanding is you were going to turn pro. Wait, like after like that last amateur fight that you had, you were going to turn pro, but it kind of happened a lot sooner than you were expecting. That it was kind of a last minute. You were stepping in.
So sorry, I have a dry throat. So basically, we basically decided after November that was our last amateur fight. We were finding it hard to get fights at amateur towards the end of the career, and Chris said, "Look, high-level amateurs are better than kind of low-level pros." He said, "So even if we have to fight them to get your experience up, we will." And that was his mindset, basically saying, "I don't want you to go pro right now, but we have no other choice." And then we agreed to a fight on with Cage Legacy and Celtic Gladiator down in Cork. And that was meant to be, I think, in March of 2019. And we got offered to fight on Cage Warriors on 7 days' notice against James Sheehan, and Chris rang me and he said, "What weight do you?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "We've a fight. We've a possibility of a fight at welterweight next week." He said, "What weight do you?" I said, "Doesn't matter. Take the fight. I'll make weight." And he said, "Ian, this isn't a piss take." I was like, "Who's it with?" He was like, "It's with Cage Warriors." I was like, "Right, cool. That's it. That's all I need to say." And he was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Because I don't want you cutting the weight if you're not going to make it. Like, we can't miss weight. If we miss weight, they're not going to want us back." I was like, "Don't worry about it. It'll be done." Not a bother. The weight was cut in a week. Done. I just straight dehydrated, straight like just cut out carbs. I was like, "Oh, here." I just done everything I could to get the weight down as low as I could, as fast as I could. Obviously, making sure I wasn't dying like at the same time, and jumped in and kind of exactly like if you've seen the fight, or if anyone's anyone who knows me knows that that was like a dream fight for me. I went in there against a guy who was a savage. Like he was, everyone that got Ireland booming. Like the MMA media were like loving that fight because it was two good talented prospects coming up against each other, and unfortunately for James, I got the better of him, and it's been kind of the start of it kind of catapulted my career. Then everyone going, this kid's a scary talent. He's very, very good, and look forward to seeing him again. And then the next fight just kind of solidified that, and then we were where we are now.
Yeah. It was a tear up, like it was some type of fight to have in a debut. Like,
I loved it. So, and I'm one for finishing fights. Like I've had 10 fights and I've gone to decision twice. One of them I lost. We're not getting into that because I hate talking about it. But that one, I know if I hadn't broke my hand and had to play it smart, I would have finished that fight. But it was nice to go in and get the 15 minutes when I'd done no strength and conditioning. I was literally just going in, just a stupid 21-year-old, just who loves to scrap, just going in against another killer for 15 minutes, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great fight. So I have no regrets on that. On me and my coach making that decision. So
yeah. And how much weight did you have to take off?
Not much. I think I was about 87 when he texted me. Maybe I was lighter. No, I think I was 87. So it was only 10 kilos. But realistically, in the first couple of days, I had to get rid of, like, I literally, the minute he called me, I went to the gym. Like, I literally went, put a sweatsuit on, and just went on the cross trainer. Like, everything was devoted to that time. And, like, I just went balls to the wall for the 7 days, just trying to lose the weight. And it came off so easy. We were kind of surprised in how easy it came off. So, yeah. And then obviously Adam was fighting that weekend as well. Adam got a fight on that. That was a mad old scrap. Your man timed out in the middle of it. Adam got the win, but that was a great weekend for the club as well. I remember me and Adam walking through the airport, and I had a bruised shin because me and my opponent went for inside leg kicks at the same time and just clashed shins, and that was horrible. But and then obviously I have my broken hand, so I was kind of like a little bit limping, big boil of a hand. Like, hand was like red raw, like someone put a tomato on my hand. Walking through the airport, Adam was in bits. I think Adam had like a 4-minute fight or something like that, but he was battered. He was like hobbling through the airport like he had no leg. Like his leg just wasn't working. And we just looked like two goons going through the airport in Liverpool, just limping and just bruised. And just wasn't ideal. But it was a great weekend, and that was kind of the weekend where, like, me and the Shelleys got really close. And ever since then, like, I feel like they're like my brothers nearly. Like, as in, I see them so much, and I'm training with them so much, and we get along. And that weekend kind of kickstarted it all off. And ever since then, Adam has been one of my like main training partners, and he's been in my corners, and he's been in my warm ups, and he's been there for my weight cuts. Like that weekend was a great weekend for me in the club.
Yeah, like that. It's good to have somebody on some with the same kind of stages. Like I know maybe like you're a little bit ahead, but like it's still fairly close. Like
yeah, and Adam has a lot to offer me in a sense of learning. Like he's obviously insanely talented in the taekwondo background, but that's something that I like to pick his brain about, and I like to ask him about certain shots and about certain kicks, because he's amazingly talented in his mind when it comes to into fighting. Like he likes to kind of take the time and study them properly, and he'll think about, like, if he's going to throw a shot, he'll think about a combination for weeks in advance before he throws it, and he'll piece it up with just little shots. So he's a great mind for the sport, and he's someone I like to have to talk to about stuff. And Ryan as well. I just give Ryan a lot more stick because he's a bit smaller, that's all.
you can get away with
it. That exactly. I do. We give him a bit more stick because he's a bit smaller. Comes in thinking he's a big man. Then he comes up against me and he gets a hiding. I beat him like I'm his big brother. That's what I do.
So they like
just use every ounce of like weight I have against him. That's what I have to do, because he's a little rat running away, throwing a little slide egg. We're great. I think my rounds with Ryan are probably my favorite in the gym. Like, we just take the piss out of it. We just be going. Like, we get into like sloppy dog fights for the crack just because we both love it. So me and Ryan would have like scraps as well in the gym, and they're just madness. Like, if you watch it, you'd be like, what is going on here? We don't even know. We're just swinging everything we have. Just kicks. We'll be throwing like a left hook, and then like a right high kick up the side, and then coming back with a left hook, and we're just going. If you were watching that, you go, these two lads haven't a clue what they're doing. We just take the absolute piss out of
it. You never know, that might come out in the cage then one day.
Exactly. One day we might get just standing just head swinging at someone.
Yeah.
I look like a tomato, by the way. I got roasted yesterday on my cycle.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great.
At least we have the weather, though. It's kind of gotten grey since I've been sitting here doing this. Maybe that's good.
But you're kind of expecting it. Like when you've been inside, you're hearing about all the doom and gloom. You're expecting to wake up and it be raining outside, and you wake up and the sun is shining. You're going, it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's mad, and I'm delighted that it is like this weather for a lot of reasons. Just because people aren't going to go insane. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was saying to my mom the other day, I was having this conversation. Could you imagine the suicide rate if it was like grey and rainy and all this, and the COVID was going on? It'd be horrible. Like, and I know it sounds like terrible. People would be killing themselves left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
They would. So thank God we're blessed with the good weather at the moment, because everyone's getting out, and it's hard to be annoyed, or it's hard to be like unhappy when you see the blue skies and the sunshine and the birds are chirping and all that. It's hard to be annoyed at or sad when you see that, because it instantly makes you a bit happier, just regardless. Whereas if you wake up and it's grey and rainy and windy and you're going, fuck that, I'm staying in bed for the entire day. There's no way I'm moving from this. I'm getting the laptop or I'm turning the TV on. I'm watching Netflix and I'm not moving. It's a lot healthier getting up and going on a walk. So we are blessed with them.
I prefer even training in the sun. I much prefer, like you said, about getting a sweat on. Like if you're moving for 2 minutes and next thing the sweat's pissing out of you. I much prefer that than the middle of winter and you've been training for half an hour and you're still going, I can't feel my hands and my feet. It's like, I much prefer to be sweating straight away.
I am delighted I don't have to train outdoors anymore. We have to used to get up and run at the start of class. So what would happen is we'd all meet up, we'd do our little warm-up, we'd go on a run, and then as soon as we come back, it was bag work, pad work, sparring. That was like whichever way we were working on it. Hated running in the cold. Hated it. Freezing. Then I done obviously hurling and gat, and you know, like they don't care if it's it's pissing rain, if it's sleet, if it's hailstone or snowing, they don't care. The guy's like, yep, it's grand. We're still going ahead. I'm like, oh, fine. But I'm so happy. My Raynaud's, I have Raynaud's, and it's a bad circulation. And it's so bad in my feet lately. It's ridiculous. Like, I'll be training in the gym on a sunny day, and like my toes are just like white, like pure white. My rest of my foot is red. There's not loads of blood. Can't feel my toes. They're just completely numb. It's madness. But I'm so happy I don't have to train outside and it'd be freezing cold. I much prefer being in a warm, hot environment than just sweating. Even though other people are sweating on you, I'd happily have 100 people be sweating all over me than be outside in the freezing cold, stand there trying to get warm like that.
Worse.
No.
Nothing worse.
I remember we were playing a game, right? And I've never experienced cold like this before. Playing outside, we were playing a game against Ballymun Kickums, and I actually had to come off the pitch. I was that cold. I was actually like shivering. Like, it was, I don't know what it was. It was obviously like just bad circulation back then when I was a kid. But I remember being on the pitch. I was playing corner forward, and the battle was going on like a lot in midfield and the half forwards and the half back. So I wasn't getting much. But the problem was, we put me on. I remember it so well. They put me on one of the good guys because we wanted to keep him away from the pit, like the action of play, so he couldn't have a massive kind of saying what was going on. And I was fairly confident. I played against him twice. I remember who he was. He was a Dublin player at the time, and I had him in my back pocket all game. And then it started hailstone, right? And I mean, like, torrential kind of like rain and like hail started coming down, and it was just like hitting us. And we were still playing, and about 2 minutes into the rain, I just went like a mummy. I just went stiff. I was like that, and I just couldn't move. I was like that to my dad. I started like crying and all. I was like, I can't feel my hands, so I had to come off and all. It was disgraceful. But I go to a gym now, and it's warm already, and I'm sitting there, I just get changed, and I go, oh, yes, here we go. Sit down on the mat and start doing some jiu-jitsu. I much prefer that.
And like, were you ever working and trying to train as well, or were you just always full-time training?
No. So when I quit college, I worked. So that was the deal. So I worked full-time. My uncle owns a cleaning company called Embassy Cleaning Services. So what they do is they clean mainly windows, but they do gutters and other stuff like that. So there's a lot of commercial buildings. So like, I went and worked with him straight away. I was doing it kind of part-time with him while I was in college anyway, and beforehand. But I got myself a full-time job with him. I said it to him, and he said, yeah, no bother. Got in a van and started driving around Dublin for 2 years, cleaning the windows. And I loved it. I absolutely loved. Again, hated it when it was freezing. You're waking up at 6 o'clock on a freezing cold morning, putting your hand in a bucket of water. It wasn't nice. But I actually loved the job. It was just up early, done up at 6 o'clock, finished about 2, half 2 every day. Come home, have a 2 hour kip just to kind of recharge the batteries. And then I was up and out for the rest of the day. I absolutely loved it. But it came to a point where I sat him down and I said, look, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to stop. I want to put every second I have into MMA, and I don't want to waste kind of time on it. I feel like it's now or never. If I don't go now, I'm never going to do it. And he said, yeah, no bottom. Like, he was behind me all the way, and he's one of my main sponsors, and he probably will be my main sponsor always going through this, because he knows how much I'm invested into this and how much I want. And he knew I enjoyed work. Like, I was making a fortune working there. I was working like 6-7 days a week sometimes. Like, there was no stop for me. He'd just be like, do you want to work today? I'm like, yeah, all right. It was a routine again. I just enjoyed it, getting up and doing something. And even if it was only a couple of hours on a Sunday doing like the T-Shocks building or something, because there was a press conference that day or something, I'd be like, yeah, cool, no bother, I'll go up and do it. But he knew how much I wanted to do it, and the fact that I was willing to quit work for it. He was like, right, I'm behind you the whole way. So it was kind of nice to have him.
Yeah.
My throat is so dry for some reason.
Might want to get that checked. It could be, a bit of COVID.
No, it's just I can feel a little tickle in it. I think it was what I just ate. It was real dry.
And do you have a nutritionist on board? But so, or somebody.
So I've got a strength and conditioning coach. I don't really, to be honest, no one is going to tell me to do nutrition. I don't know who that is at the front door, but my man better not start screaming when they come in now, or it's going to be war. But basically, I kind of do my own nutrition. To be honest with you, I'm the fattest skinny person you've ever met, right? I eat like a horse. You can ask the Shelleys, right? Genuinely.
I've heard a rumor about there's a Domino's for Life card or something like this. Is that what's the story with that?
We might get that. That's coming soon. I'll get that soon. I just love pizza, man. I'm just so fat. So when I'm not fighting, like right now, and this is no joke, right? And there's no other person that has done this. I don't know who's at the door, but my man better answer now before I start getting annoyed, because I hate people ringing the doorbell. It's my niece. Here, 2 seconds. 1 second. She's not going to stop until I... Sorry about this. 2 seconds. I'm getting on it, right? Sorry. So basically... So, yeah. What are we saying there? Go on in. I'm doing an interview. Bye. Sorry about that. She'll just keep ringing the doorbell and she'll even annoy me more. What were we saying? We were saying about
you're so fat.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I've had about 4 home cooked meals since this lockdown has started. I've just been ordering takeaways every night because I want it. I've nothing else. I've nothing to look forward to. I'm going, oh yeah, like I have a fight in 6 weeks. I don't have a fight till October. You know what I mean? Like that's where because I don't think we're gonna fight. I don't think there's going to be any fights until August, September, October, November. So I'm like, they're ages away. We just stop. I can change my diet up in 2 weeks and it'll be grand. But I just love food and stuff like that. So I'm a little fat. Oh. And I have it. You don't get love handles like these overnight. Like these take time. Like these are so dense and so thick. Do you know what I mean? It's next level. But I will start getting the weight down eventually soon because I'll start training. Once kind of the gym can open back up, then I'll do it. But other than that, I'm just going to keep eating and take advantage of this time off. Like, I'm loving this lockdown. Other than the fact that I can't train. Like, I'm sitting at home doing nothing all day. My mates are doing nothing all day. You know what I mean? So we're all having a bit of a crack on the phones and stuff like that and on the PlayStation. And I'm getting out and doing cycling and staying fit. So, like, I'm in no way like out of shape or anything. I just have a little belly on me from eating a lot of food. That's about it.
Exactly, it's all part of it. Like, so like,
exactly. Look, that'll be gone in a couple of days.
I suppose it's kind of it's probably a while back now, but I kind of want to ask about the stuff you said about Bellator. Was that kind of it didn't maybe you probably didn't fully mean it, maybe everything you said, like, but like
no, I meant everything I said. I think people just took it the wrong way. So when back then, obviously that sparked up a load of kind of controversy and a load of like just people getting in and talking a load of shite. But they were all just right. This is the problem with all them. They're all. I'm not gonna say anything bad, but they were all just looking for an argument, right? I wasn't saying anything bad about what they were doing. I respect anyone who steps into the cage. Do you know what I mean? It's not an easy thing to do. But you're going in there against another person who's trained to fight, and you're risking your health. Like, you could easily walk away from a scrap with a broken jaw, and that could affect your life for the rest of for every day you wake up and you're trying to chew food and it hurts because your jaw is sore. Do you know what I mean? I understand that, but my aspect is, if I do something, I'm not going to do something to just be average. Do you know what I mean? Why would I do that? That's not the type of person I am. I want to go in and I want to be the best. And the UFC is the best platform in the world. It's not up for discussion. Like, if you have to argue it, you need to go do some learning. cop on, right? Because everyone knows it, right? So that's where I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else other than where I will be classed as the best. There's no fighter in this world, other than any of the guys that are in the UFC, that would be classed as the best, if you get what I'm saying. So the welterweight champion, the best welterweight at the moment is Kamaru Usman. No one says it's Douglas Lima, even though he's a sicko. Don't get me wrong, he's an animal. But no one says it's him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Usman. Usman's the guy, and everyone knows that. And obviously, the UFC is more popular and stuff like that. But I just want to be. I want to be where all the other best fighters are, and I want to try be that guy. I want to be the people that everyone are trying to beat. Everyone's trying to beat, and I want to have the target on my back eventually. And I want to enjoy kind of rising through the ranks of the UFC if I eventually get there, and try beat all the killers in my way to get to where I want to be. But like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's no shame in that. But like, I know I want to be in the UFC, and there's nowhere else I want to be, because, like, as I said earlier on, I wouldn't do a job to just do a job. I want to do something I love, and trying to be the best is why I do this. Is because I love it. It's because I want to push myself every day. And if I'm going in and I'm just fighting another guy who's all right, it doesn't bother me. That's not saying that. I'm just going to start talking shy here now, and people are going to start picking us apart and saying, he's saying we're not good now. He's saying, if anyone has a problem, just come to my gym and talk to me face to face, and we'll deal with it on the mats, right? Rather than talking shit online, you fucking mouthpieces.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
I 100% get that right of, like, you wanted to be the best and competing against the best competition. But do you understand the way people, or would you I suppose understand, but if a big offer financial wise comes for someone like Bellator or another promotion, like, it can be hard not to take that.
And no, I completely understand that, and I completely agree with it. And it all depends on where you are in your life. Like, I'm 22 years of age. I don't have a kid to look after. I don't have bills to pay. Like, I have to pay for my car insurance and my petrol. That's literally more or less the only thing I have to pay for. So, like, I don't have, like, money isn't something I need. Like, if you know what I mean. I can get away with having fuck all money and just training. That's what I love. That gets me. I just go to train, I come home, I go to train, I come home, I go to train, I come home. That's the way I live. I don't have to pay for like education or anything, or how, like, heating or electricity. I don't have any responsibilities other than looking after myself. So obviously, if I was 30 and I had a kid, or I was maybe looking to get a house or something like that, or I had a girlfriend, or she was pregnant, then it's a completely different decision. A completely different, like, I understand people doing, right? But at the moment, that's not what I want to do. And I don't see myself having a house or having a girlfriend. And please, God, I don't have a kid anytime soon. Jesus Christ. But, so for me, it's all like, it'll always be about me until maybe, if the dream happens, it happens. If I make it to the UFC, happy days. If I don't, then I might look at it and I'll go, right, if it doesn't happen, I might go somewhere else and fight for a few quid. But realistically, if I'm not going to be the best, I'm not going to do this sport. I'll go do something else, or I'll go get a job, and I'll go do something that's going to guarantee me kind of money for a family or a house or whatever it may be. But like, that's, at the moment, I don't see any other option by the UFC, and that's it. But as circumstances change, so does everything else. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's like, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think, and kind of what I kind of got was, like, when you said that about it, it's kind of like you were kind of speaking about somebody in your situation, like somebody like you, young, up and coming, where you want to be as the UFC. Like, you weren't necessarily talking about somebody who, like you said, is maybe in their 30s, is maybe pushing towards the end, and needs to make some money out of their career. And I think that's maybe where I kind of got a little bit blown up, is everybody took offense to what you said. And
that's
like,
fine. They can all take offense to it.
But you weren't speaking about, like, you were talking about maybe somebody in, like, I would think, in your situation, when you're young, up and coming, where you want to be is the UFC. You don't necessarily go, oh, I want to sign for this promotion, that promotion. It's the UFC you want to be in. But like that, if you're in your 30s, you can't be hanging around waiting for the UFC. Like, you have to maybe make some money. You have to make some money out of it at that stage.
No, 100%. And when you're 30, you're gonna have when you're 30, you're gonna want to you're gonna want to start looking to settle down, and you're gonna want to look to have a kid with your girlfriend or something, because that's the age you have a kid. You don't want to be waiting until you're 40 to have a kid, and then you're 60 by the time they're 20. Obviously it happens, but everyone always wants to kind of settle down in their early to kind of mid 30s, and that's normal. So that's a different situation. But like, if anyone took offense to that, that's their own fault. I couldn't care if I offended all of them or any of them. I couldn't care less. And if any of them had a problem with it, like, I have no problem with them coming to the gym and talking to me and telling me what they didn't like. But like, no one's going to do that, because it didn't offend them that much. And the problem is, if it offended you, then it means it's true. Do you know what I mean? Like, if what I was saying offended you and you got really annoyed because I'm saying, like, what I was saying back then was like, I don't want to fight for, like, if I was fighting for Bellator, I could probably go get 10 grand, 20 grand. Do you know what I mean? Depending on how well I was doing. I'm not going to get that in Cage Warriors. I know I'm not going to get that in Cage Warriors, but that's not what I'm looking to get. I'm looking to be the best. And if me saying that Bellator is the B team and UFC is the A team, and you disagree, you're tick. Like, it's clearly evident. Like, and I've nothing against anyone in Bellator. Like, I think there's some amazing fighters in Bellator, and especially what they're doing in Ireland at the moment. They're doing some great things, bringing the show back over here and putting on a platform for people to get into the sport. Because realistically, at the end of the day, if they're all doing well, it means I'm doing well, because people are falling in love with the sport more. So it's a win-win for me. But what I said, people took too much offense at and were just too soft about it. Like, it was nothing meant like that, but they all just took it out of proportion and kind of ran away with it and just lost sight of it. Yeah, every single argument I had on Twitter, right, was about money. Every single argument. Bellator out here changing lives. I wouldn't make that money on Cage Warriors. That was the problem. Everyone was talking about money. They weren't talking about fighting or being the best. They were talking about money. And look, if that's what you want to fight for, then go ahead. If you're going to fight for 20 grand and you're 20 years of age or you're 25 years of age, then fair play to you. That's because I have no problem with that, because you're making nice money and you're doing what you love. I have no problem with that. But don't turn around and say you're the best fighter in the world, because you're not. And you know you're not. That's the difference. That's my outlook on it. I can't sit there and say I'm one of the best in the world if I'm not in the UFC, because I'll know I'm not. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Do you get, like, yeah. I'll know I won't. But if I'm a young fighter in the UFC and I'm fighting and I'm winning, I'm the best fighter in the world, and I'm beating other guys who want to be the best. I'm getting closer towards that champion, and I'm going to beat him, and I'm going to prove I'm the best. If I was to do that in Bellator or ONE or KSW or any of these other big promotions, I'm not the best. And it's nothing against any of those promotions. Like, I think some like KSW is an amazing promotion. I watched my coach Chris fight, and they are unreal. Like, the way they had the shows and the way it was, the production was amazing. I'm not talking bad about any of them. I'm just speaking about fighters and people who are the best. That's just my outlook on it. And you can sit here and argue with me all day and throw things left, right, and center at me. I'm still not going to change my mind on the way I look at it. And it's UFC all the way for me. And it doesn't matter about money. It doesn't matter about fame. It doesn't matter about anything. It's just about, literally, I want to leave a legacy. And if I can't, if it comes to a point where maybe I'm not good enough, or I get an injury, or I get something, again, touch wood, but anything, then I'll change. I'll have a look, and I'll evaluate things with my coaches, and I'll see what's best for me going forward. But for now, there's only one thing I'm looking at, and that's getting that Cage Warriors belt and going to the UFC.
Yeah, so it brings you on to, so how many fights do you reckon you'll have before you get the Cage Warriors belt, and then maybe?
So if we're going off what normality was like, so obviously I was meant to fight twice this year. I was fighting in Belfast, and then I was going to look to fight in London again. So I was looking to have about 4 or 5 fights this year. That would put me at about 7-8-0, because I wouldn't have lost any of them. So that would have put me to about 7-8-0. And realistically, if that was the case, I was thinking like early 2021 for the title, and then like I mean like late as in like a December or a January February type thing, and then maybe the March in London for the UFC, or look, there possibly could be a time where I get there without even the belt if I move fast enough and I have enough hype behind me. So to be honest, I don't want to go to the UFC without getting that Cage Warriors belt. It's something I want, and it's something I want badly. But as I said, I'm never going to turn down that UFC if it comes calling. I couldn't imagine an excuse to say no to it, as in, oh, I'm not ready or I'm injured. I wouldn't care less. I'd still do it. But yeah, I'd imagine probably now about 2022, probably another 2 years before we get to the UFC. Maybe a year and a half before we get that belt. It all depends on how this kind of pandemic goes, to be honest. I could sit here and tell you I'm going to fight in August or September, and I might not fight till February or March next year. So no one knows.
But are you and James in the same, James Webb in the same division?
No, I'm in welterweight for now.
And he was
I fight at welterweight. He fights at middleweight. But I was saying to Chris, I wouldn't mind taking a couple of middleweight fights this year or whenever kind of the competing starts back, just to fight more regularly. Like, I don't want to fight 3 or 4 times a year. I want to fight like 6, 7, and 8 times a year. Like that's what I enjoy doing. It's like I don't want to wait every like 3-4 months to fight. I want to fight every month, every 2 months. I don't care if I'm fighting like 12 times a year and I'm fighting at the end of the month every month. I'd happily do that. It's like I'm young and I enjoy it, and I don't get hit a lot, so I'm not thick. Like, my brain's not gonna be mushed. So I wouldn't mind doing that. Like, if I could fight at middleweight and then fight welterweight the next fight after, and then go back up and then go back down, I'd be happy with that. But we'll see where next year goes. But I am looking to go up middleweight and fight a couple of people, because people are saying no at welterweight, and it gives me another avenue to kind of go, right, we'll see if the middleweights want any. And I'm sure there'll be some guys up there going, I'll absolutely thump this welterweight round, and I'll be like, haha, no way, not today.
Yeah, I do think do you think like the fact that you said you had 60 boxing fights when you were younger, like that's a savage amount of fights to have when you're young.
That was only 1 year. I had about 300, man.
And yeah, but like that, you're kind of, when you first started, you were always active and constantly fighting. I think that's kind of maybe carrying over. Like, you just want to be in there.
Yeah, 100%. And you'll obviously understand from the competing in taekwondo, like, you have multiple fights on a day. Like, I never really had multiple fights on a day. I would have had them on a week. So, like, it could be I'd fight on a Tuesday and a Thursday. Or it could be like I'd fight in the All Irelands. I'd fight on Friday, I'd fight the Saturday, and I'd fight the Sunday. So I just like competing. I'll do anything to get in there and show off my skills and test them against another man. So I just want to fight. It doesn't matter. Like, obviously Cage Warriors won't do that for me, because they want to build me up and they want to build me and be like, they have a great squad. Like, the team is amazing. So their PR team will build people up to be stars, and I think they could do that with me. They could build me up and make me into like a star before the UFC, and then it's just like, right, here you go, take this fella and enjoy. Good luck. And then I'll get to the UFC and we'll smash everyone and hopefully get to that title or be one of the best fighters in the UFC. That's my plan. And look, come here, this could be all absolute shite. And we may go out and get smoked in my next fight, but who knows? You know what I mean? You never know. But I'm sitting here confident in my skill set and my ability that I can go all the way. And I just want to fight as much as I can and enjoy it all. That's basically my outlook on the whole thing.
Yeah, sure. Look, if you don't believe it, then nobody else is going to believe it for you.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. And I think, come here, I have enough self-confidence to last me. I don't need anyone else to be confident in my own ability. I'm so confident. You could literally tell me I'm shy at something, I'd be like, nope, I'm deadly. I am deadly at it. But yeah, I've never lacked confidence ever. Even when I was a kid, So it's just,
Yeah. I was
it's just
listening to something recently. I can't remember who I was listening to, but they said like there's like kind of like I don't know if there's a name for it, like that. That's just kind of, you know, that blind confidence. Like if you said something and somebody just goes, "I'd be great at that," and they 100% they believe they'd be great at it. It like,
mate, I'm that person. Like I'm that guy that when he was a kid, like people would just be like, "Oh, he's a little." They just, I'll be like, "He's a cocky little prick, that fella," and I'm like, I was just confident that I could do anything. If you told me I couldn't do something, I would do it just because I knew I could. And yeah, I've never really kind of doubted myself in anything other
yeah,
than football. Oh my God, I was not good at kicking a ball off the ground. Jesus, you'd ask me to kick it in a goal and I would absolutely miss it, even if it was wide open. Nowadays, I'm not too bad, but
yeah.
I wasn't great at was football. Decent centre back now, though. If you ask me, if I was to do it now, though, I reckon I'd be a good centre back. I just break that up left, right, and centre.
Is that blind confidence? Is that what's maybe got you? Is that what got you into the piano?
No, I actually love I love kind of singing and stuff like that, and I like a lot of the songs I'd enjoy singing along to and listening to would be kind of slower and like John Legend and Lewis Capaldi and stuff like that, where it's just a bit more slow and it's more about the vocals as opposed to like a Drake or a rap or something like that, where it's about the lyrics. It's more about the singing, and like Adele. I just love listening to songs like that, and I've always liked it. And I burned the ear off my family singing in the shower and singing in the room and all. And they hate it because I'm so loud when I do it. But no, I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano, and that was just kind of this whole COVID when it kicked off. I was like, right, I'm going to do it. So I bought an app, and it's teaching me kind of the chords. So I taught myself that piano, the little bit from John Legend, in like an hour. Just from YouTube, just looking up videos. And then I was like, look, that's probably not the best way to learn the piano. I'll teach myself the chords and I'll learn how to kind of read it. And then once this pandemic stops and the lockdown and all kind of fizzles out, I'll get in contact with a teacher and I'll get them to teach me how to play, because it's something I'd love to do. I'd love to just be able to sit down and play it because I think it's enjoyable. And I like most of the songs I like transfer to singing it over on the piano, so I could have some fun.
Tony Ferguson style, wasn't there a video of him playing the piano?
There was a video of him in the piano the other day. Yeah, I seen it. It was deadly.
Yeah, so maybe
He's
that's going to be a thing. Might be a thing now, you know. UFC fighters playing the piano.
Look, there probably is. There's probably loads of hidden talents that people who fight have, but people don't know about, because like we don't just fight. Like I sing all the time. Like if I wasn't a fighter, I think I'd love to like be a musician or something like that, or be in a band or something. Find out something. I think that'd be cool. Because there ain't nothing. Look, being a fighter is cool. There's nothing cooler than being like a pop star or something like that. Like you look at like a Drake or something like that. Like their class is like the next level of stardom. Do you know what I mean? You see Drake, it's next level. Or you see someone like Lewis Capaldi, they're all just imagine going out to a stadium of like 80,000 people or 50,000 people just there for you. Like that's deadly. Now that's something I wouldn't mind.
And they sing your song back to you, like something you wrote.
Exactly.
Like yeah, I'd imagine the buzz.
Imagine seeing the like obviously Lewis Capaldi wrote his songs with that, and he's someone I'd listen to a lot. But like when he goes to shows, could you imagine just sitting there and seeing everyone the emotions people go through listening to your music, and that's deadly. And I know that's a different outlook on the way like music is, but music's meant to like take you over. And like I remember we were at EP and Electric Picnic, and She came on, right, and they were unbelievable, and they started singing Everybody Dance, and I didn't see one person who wasn't dancing. Everyone was kind of getting groovy and just everybody was like do clap your hands. Everyone was having a great time, and it was just that's the way music is supposed to be. You're meant like that's their song, and that no matter where they go or where they sing it, like everyone has a good time and everyone's in a good mood because of it. So you come here, fighting's deadly, and going in there and punching someone around is unbelievable. But I'd say that feels even better, to be honest.
Yeah. Actually, so maybe before we finish up, I probably know the answer to this one, but we'll ask anyway. If you had to pick a favorite fighter of all time, who would you pick?
Who would you say? Who do you think I'm going to say? You think I'm going to say Conor?
I would say Conor. That's what I would say you would pick.
Favorite fighter of all time, as in to watch, just from growing up, Conor would be up there. Obviously, he's the reason I get into the sport. But if you're asking me who I'd want to watch the most, to be honest, probably GSP. And I'd have this argument a lot with the lads. I think John Jones is the best to ever do it. Like, we've seen GSP get knocked out, we've seen GSP lose. We've never seen John Jones lose. That's my argument. That's why I think he's the best. Khabib is up there as one of at the moment, but he hasn't fought the endless talented fighters like GSP or John Jones did at the time, or even as Anderson Silva. When you look at Jones and GSP and you look at their resume and you look back at the names and the people they fought, and you're going, holy shit, that's some man. Like, I must put up. I must send you like both of them side by side and just look at the names. Like, you're looking at GSP and he's fought the scariest guys in the division time after time after time, and he just dominated, just completely. The reason I like watching his fights is because of how dominant he was. He'd like going in there against Josh Koscheck, who's a wrestler, and just dominating. Going in there against there's so many bleeding fights I could talk about, like when he fought Dan Hardy and he just destroyed him. And Dan Hardy was so tough, just wouldn't give up, and he just kept putting it on him, going, right, that's fine, I'm just going to keep beating you up, I'm just going to keep doing it, I'm not getting touched here, you're not doing anything to me, I'm just going to bat you until this is finished. He's probably my favourite fighter to watch when I go back and think of all the fighters. But John Jones would be my GOAT, and Conor was the reason I got into the sport, so I can't take anything away from that man when it comes to fighting. But probably GSP, just for watching it, because everyone wants to be that dominant. You want to go in, no one wants to go into a fight and have a 50-50 fight or a close fight. You want to go in there and steamroll some. So yeah. Probably GSP.
Yeah, like you said, when you look at like that, I think like somebody who maybe gets overlooked sometimes, like what Matt Hughes was there for a bit of time. Like, he was
absolutely,
a kid, and GSP stepped in, like, beat him. You look, BJ Penn was a killer for his time. GSP stepped in, and there's just so many. And I like the fact that GSP, that there's nothing like, there's no like, oh well, was he on the steroids for that fight, or was he not? Like, like GSP, like, there's nothing kind of over that. I think that's kind of just maybe like Jones's record is unbelievable, but there's always that. Now, I don't read too much into that, because I think everybody back at that kind of at certain point was on the Mexican supplements. So I don't read too much into it. But I like the fact that GSP there isn't that with it.
Yeah, I think GSP is very lucky though, because I'm not saying anything, but like, everyone back then was on it. It's no secret. Like, everyone knows everyone back then was on the juice. And then like USADA and all came in, and he just disappears and stuff like that. And look, there's never going to be but he was juicing. But there's going to be the question of, but was he? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, come here, but look, at the end of the day, this is the problem. That shouldn't be something we talk about when we're talking about the best, because obviously, if you're taking it, you're gonna be enhanced, and you're gonna be better than someone who isn't taking. I understand that, but like, you're fine. Like, John Jones for me is just so good. With steroids or without steroids, I think he's so good. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference. He's the fighter he is, and he's just smart. GSP is the same. With or without steroids, I think he'd be as good. It's just, you know what I mean? You can that question mark of steroids, regardless of, like, if I get good, right, and I get to that top level, everyone's going to say it about me as well. Is he on steroids? You know what I mean? Is he on EPO? Is he on growth and all this? And I'm going, yeah, I still have love handles. I'm telling you, I definitely am on steroids. Because I said this to lads, physique isn't something I worry about. You see a lot of lads and a lot of fighters like worrying about like abs, and they're putting pictures down, like, tensing out of their mind. I have about abs for about 6 times a year, and that's when I cut weight and weigh in. And that's the only times I have abs. Other than that, I am not sculpted at all. I'm in good nick. Like my shoulders are broad, my chest is getting bigger, and I have big thick legs and a fat ass. But like I don't worry about how I look whatsoever, and I couldn't care less, because you don't need to look the best to fight the best. Abs don't win fights. Big biceps don't win fights. You know what I mean? So that's something I've never cared about. So when I'm sitting there and I'm in the UFC and I've still got a little belly on me, I'm not ripped out of my mind, and I'm walking in and I'm punching someone around, then you'll go, right, maybe he's not on the juice. So the love handles would be the key indication. I don't think they're ever going. The only way these are going is with liposuction. The amount of fat in them, it's too dense.
I know there'll be a big sell. There could be a selling point at some point in time.
Exactly. We'll get rid of them, sell them, and someone could use them for some mad shit. Sell them to Elon Musk. He could make some mad AI baby or something.
He can do anything, that man. But
He's amazing.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. I've really enjoyed the chat. It was great to have you on in the end finally.
It was a great time.
Yeah, like that. Best of luck with that. Hopefully we'll be back training. You'll get back fighting, and best of luck with like the push on into the UFC.
Hopefully we'll see. Hopefully this all ends sooner rather than later. I mean, it's mad, but look, just enjoy it while we can and stay kind of positive and just keep doing what we can to enjoy it. But I hope you're keeping well, and I hope the family and all is doing good. And it was a pleasure coming on, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. I'll be following the career, yourself and the Shelleys and the rest of the guys in the gym. I'll be
Appreciate
following.
it. If you ever want to come up to the gym, feel free. I'll help you bat the Ryan.
I'll lead it because he's bigger than me.
I'll help you. Don't worry.
Well, all the best, man.
Take care, pal. Thank you.